Hi, I'm Dan Amundsen, owner of Jenlis. We're here on the lake today to demonstrate our products, the WeedRazer and the WeedRaker, lakeshore products used to control aquatic vegetation around your lakeshore cabin, your home, or in your pond. We're first going to demonstrate the WeedRazer Express. It's our smallest cutter. It cuts a 30-inch path. When you're ready to cut, get your leather gloves on. Make sure that you remove the covers. Put them in a safe place. This is a very sharp tool, so always be aware of where the blades are and what you're doing. The first thing you want to do is untangle your rope and get your foot or secure it to the dock so that when you toss the tool off the dock, it doesn't end up in the bottom of the water. Got the rope secured under my foot. I'm going to grab the handle in the back and support it with this hand. And then I'm just going to toss it straight out. I'm going to let it sink to the bottom for a couple seconds. I'm going to wrap the rope around my hand and pull back with a jerking motion. It's very easy, depending on what the vegetation density is. I could even pull the rope with one hand if I had to. So it's easily retrieved because the blades are so sharp. You can see immediately that the vegetation is starting to float to the surface, so the WeedRazer is doing its job very effectively. Once you're done cutting your weeds, make sure you put the WeedRazer in a safe place and put the blade guards on immediately. And then you're ready to put it away. And now I'm going to demonstrate the WeedRazer. The WeedRazer is our standard product. Like the WeedRazer Express, once it's put together, it cuts a fixed angle of 48 inches. When you're ready to use the tool, make sure that the rope is secured, in this case with my foot. I have the handle in one hand and support it in the other. Toss the product out into the water, let it sink for a couple seconds and pull it back. Wrap the rope around your hand and pull back with a jerking motion. The tool should return weed-free. Now I'm going to demonstrate the WeedRazer Pro. It's our best-selling model, and you can see why. It's adjustable up into 5 different positions. Right now it's at its widest angle, 62 inches, but it can be adjusted down to 12 inches. Depending on the density of the vegetation, you can adjust it to your needs. Again, when you're using any of our cutters, make sure you're using leather gloves, and make sure you keep the covers on until you're ready to use the product. We're at a place where there isn't a lot of vegetation, so cutting at a wide angle is ideal. We can cover the greatest amount of area with the least amount of effort. Wrap the rope around your hands, pull back with a jerking motion. You can already see the results. When you're retrieving the tool with such a wide angle, sometimes you'll get vegetation on the blade, but just tip it to one side or the other and the vegetation will come off easily. Now I'm going to demonstrate the WeedRaker. It's a product that we use with the WeedRazer. We recommend a 2-step process. You cut your vegetation with one of the razors, and then you follow up with the WeedRaker. Most states, it's required by law that if you cut any vegetation, you get it out of the water. And now I'd like to talk to you about the Swifter sifter. The Swifter sifter is an aluminum basket. It weighs 8 pounds. It comes with 2 floats and 2 ropes, and it's used for skimming the surface or the bottom. So if I cut aquatic vegetation with the WeedRazer, the vegetation will float to the surface, and I can use the basket as a way to retrieve those weeds. If I'm in a pond situation and I have duckweed or other algae accumulating on the surface of the pond, we can use the Swifter sifter to deploy and retrieve that material off the top of the water body. On the bottom, you take the floats off, toss the basket out, the Swifter sifter, let it sink to the bottom, and then you retrieve it with the ropes. Or in a dock situation like this, you can just drop it off the edge of the dock, go to shore, and retrieve it across the bottom and pick up organic matter, leaves, twigs, things that cause muck to accumulate on the bottom of your lake. I'd like to introduce you to our product, Clear. It's designed to control planktonic algae in your pond. It's the algae that turns your water green. The packaging is simple. Inside there's a foil bag that contains the product. You take it out of the foil bag and you toss it in your pond. Okay, I want to demonstrate sharpening the WeedRazer. The standard WeedRazer and the WeedRazer Pro both come with a sharpener. We recommend that you sharpen the WeedRazer every time you use it, but it depends on the conditions. What you want to do is take the fork of the sharpener and run it down the blade. Make sure every time that you're sharpening that the WeedRazer is in a stable position, you're in a stable position, and that you're wearing leather gloves.